불멸의 전사 2.
And to put it lightly,
Yeah.
Leenock.
Su, we all know how good of a player he was in Heart of the Swarm, but recently he hasn't really been showing the best of form. I think Dark has become that top Zerg player on that team, and but you have to remember though, Sulky did leave the team, and it's. I think the Zerg line, actually historically in the past, the SK Telecom Zerg line has been mocked to be really bad, but especially coming into Heart of Swarm, StarCraft 2, and now Legacy Void, it's one of the strongest Zerg lineups out there.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. You know, Dark alone has proven in the past, few months and really over the past year or so that he can fill the shoes that Sulky left behind. And, really just looking at Su, I mean, he was a finalist of very, very, very many tournaments, but consistent enough, consistent in Pro League, one of the best players in Pro League for many rounds last year. And this year he's actually even, though he hasn't been as dominant, he's still doing okay. I think he's at 5 wins, if I'm not mistaken. So he's still, close to 3rd place with everyone else that has 6.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Su hasn't really dropped off the map. It's just he hasn't been performing as we thought, coming from Heart of Swarm.
But when you compare it to Leenock, Leenock and Lucira are both the 2 Zergs that are trying to replace Life in the roster. In fact, Leenock was literally traded for Life to Afrika before Life, was disappeared from competitive play. But just looking at, when you compare where Su has fallen off and what his role was before compared to what Leenock has accomplished or what he hasn't really accomplished, I think it's a tough comparison to make for Leenock's favor. You kind of look at this and go, it's going to be a tough one at ZVZ. He's got good muted control in this meta, but I don't know.
Well, it feels like Lucira has actually rose up. You talk about the Wings of Liberty players that started out when the game first came out, Bjorn, Alive, Lucira. It feels like Lucira's found his stride again in Legacy of Void. He did make it to the round of 8 of the GSL. He did get wrecked by Dia, but completely moot point. He made it to the round of 8 of the world's toughest esports tournament. So
yeah, he's also he also won a great ZVZ versus Dark to actually get out of that group. And Leenock is trained with this guy, right?
Yeah.
He's watching this guy. Su is at 6 wins actually, 6-1, so even higher than I thought. I think the big selling points for Leenock in this matchup are both his A, muted control, and B, his ability to transition versus being behind in mutas. Leenock versus Armani in Heart of the Swarm, one of the best examples of basically Leenock lost a game and was down 100 supply and nearly came back and won because his decision making in ZVZ is that good. But I mean, Armani is a retired player that was almost irrelevant even at that time. I gotta say, Leenock, this is the matchup where you could maybe take a ZVZ versus an SKT player. And here we go. He has to do it to bring us to the ace match.
I would love to see an ace match here, but all of us predicting for Su here, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
That we will, guys. Looks like the map is up and loaded. We're going to go into what could be the last map in the Telecom Wars unless Leenock can bring us to that ace. Let's jump into game number 4. Up here in red, KT Rolster Zerg. It is Leenock, the ex-Afrika, ex-FX Open Zerg. And down here at the bottom left, in blue for SKT T1, the favorite, it is Su, the Kong Zerg.
And we see here early pull from Su, so obviously he wants to get some pressure done early. And we are on Overgrowth, which is one of those legacy maps, as you like to call it. So obviously a lot of the builds, a lot of the way that players approach this map, they already know this because they played this map so many times in Pro League previous seasons.
Yeah, Overgrowth is opposite of how I feel about Frost. One of the better maps to actually make it into this legacy pool, along with King Sage. Those are my top 2.
Ooh,
And I
but
could
he's
talk
going
about that forever.
He's going hatch first, so
Yeah, and even a drone behind it.
yeah, so this might be really bad for Leenock if he doesn't sniff this out and defend from it.
Su does this a lot, and I feel like one of the weaknesses of Leenock's play, like I said, his two strengths, right, is Mutalist control and his transitions versus Mutalist. I think when you look back at Leenock ZVZs, those are the things you really think about. I'll even gas before pool. I think his control in the early game is absolutely one of his weakest points in ZVZ. And Su knows this as well on this map. He's like, oh, Leenock versus ZVZ. If we both do the same build, I can out-micro him and get ahead. If he does a really safe build, I can still get ahead with good micro tricks and stuff. And if he's greedy, I just straight up win. And I think that's kind of the situation we may be in here, is following up with speed and keeps drones in gas as well. So Leenock is going to have pressure on him for potentially the rest of this game if he survives.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task here from Leenock to defend from this attack here from Su, as the speed has just started. It's on its way, and it looks like Su's just relentless with his Zerglings. He's actually adding a Baneling Nest to this as well, and oh, look at, I can't see Leenock's face right now, but it must be quite sullen.
Oh, I can imagine. So now here come the Lings. The spawning pool is in a good spot here. The Queen can actually pop in between the hatch and the pool and do some extra range damage. But it's going to be a while before that Queen is out. Two of them on the way here. Good drone drills, good micro here for Leenock, but he's losing mining time. And when the Baneling Nest finishes and speed, how can he recover? It's going to be so difficult with the greedy build he's chosen. Look at this. And he's actually surrounding the larva. Like, Leenock doesn't have money to make Lings, and the Lings they are making are going to get surrounded. This is, I feel like, almost an already lost game for Leenock.
Yeah, he's just waiting for this Queen right here, but how much can this Queen do? He's actually adding a Spine Crawler in his mineral line because he knows that, I think he just has to give up on his hatchery. He's cancelled the Queen there. He was actually going to finish, and he sees the Banelings here.
You saw that moment where Su had his Lings on hold position for where the Queen was spawning as well. He knew the exact timing, and then he was like, oh, you canceled.
Yeah, he canceled
Like,
it.
Su is so smart, and he's so good at doing timing attacks in ZVZ. All right, Baneling's coming up the ramp. He's making a wall.
Yeah, Leenock needs to defend with it. He has the drone advantage, but these Banelings might do the damage that could kill him and end KT's hopes to take this game series out.
Oh, good position on this Queen. He only has one. The second one's about to pop out. Here come the Banes, but the split is late. 6 drones killed already. The Spine is canceled, and that second Spine is very low. He's trying to use stop position micro here, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Oh, the Spine Crawler still stays alive though on 30 HP. And oh, these drones trying to do damage to these Zerglings, but oh, look, you look at the supply count, it's just, it's got to be really hard for Leenock to come back from this, honestly, looking at supply counts.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to save this hatchery. He's trying desperately to buy time to get his own Queen out. He has more larva, and that's it. You know, he has a smaller army, he has a defender's advantage, he has a Spine Crawler, but he's fighting a losing battle without a Baneling Nest.
Well, he has a lava, but what money does he have to spend on it? So
that, like, I think this is just going to slowly be the end of Leenock here. The game's already over. Dead, even, and workers. He types out GG, and SKT will take it. 3-1.
Yeah, that was a very quick game, but honestly, it feels like all the games that Su has won in Zerg vs. Zerg have been pretty much build order wins with the getting that 12 pool speedling with the Banelings. But yeah, props to Su. Man, he figured out that Leenock would probably be going for a greedy hatch first build, and as a result, took out the game. And SKT do take out this round's Telecom Derby 3-1.
Very well played by SKT tonight. They really brought it. With 2 shakier matches that weren't as secure. I think the first 2 really secured them to win here. And then when you look at the ZVZ, they had a good plan. And really only Innovation got outplayed on SKT's side. And even him, he didn't even have a bad game. He just kind of got outplayed by stats. But man, a very, very convincing performance here. And this will be 2 additional indicator points to SKT. And they're trying to fast approach Jin Air, who, you know, SKT had to go to the ace match versus MVP. Jin Air, we'll see if that happens to them, because they'll be playing against MVP later on tonight.
And I think Classic will be today's MVP. I mean, looking at all the wins that KT did take today, I think Classic beating the best Pro Tours in the world is, especially coming off a very long break in Pro League,
Absolutely,
is a testament to Classic's MVP deservedness.
You and I are like on the same wavelength on this. I was going to say the same. Classic should be the MVP today. He outplayed Zest. He threatened him. He had a great build. We have not seen him in round 2 yet. It was only his 3rd match this season. And for him to come in and take that win off of Zest just speaks volumes as to where he is right now and what we can expect from him going into summer season and the rest of round 2.
Yeah, even though Classic was eliminated from all those individual leagues early, I am very keen for the upcoming summer season of SSL and GSL, see if he can bounce back, because we all know how talented of a player he is.
All right, well, stats though, I guess the only redeeming factor for KT today does take out Innovation. Poor Innovation not going to pick up another win like his teammates. So he was like, sick, I got an extra win. He's like, nice. So it looks like we are going to jump to that